over in the Stash Buster group in Facebook, and I will get the link up for that. I haven't quite. Every time I try to upload it, it doesn't work, and I don't know. My internet's weird today. But it's Stash Busters for arts and crafts, and the arts and crafts are in parentheses. So that's the group that it is. It is a public group right now, so please go over and join, because that's where I'm going to be holding. That's where the albums are for this, so you can participate as we are using up our stash for the next couple of weeks. Today it's Whimsical Wednesday, and I'm sorry I'm an hour late. I did announce over there that I was going to be an hour late just because I had some things that I was trying to make that better. Maybe that's better. That came up and it was out of my control. I had to deal with. No, it's not Corona related. Nothing like that. We're totally fine, but I just had some stuff I had to do. So anyway, today is Whimsical Wednesday, and I wanted to share with you some things, what I'm going to be doing. And also, I have a couple tips on how to stamp. Okay, so let me show you something. I use this stamp set. It's from Close to My Heart. I haven't even used it yet, and it comes with these thin cuts. So I'm having like a really hard time lining up my thin cuts over my stamped image. And what I've been doing is I've been stamping my image first, then taking purple tape and putting this over, and it's still moving. I'm not getting perfect placement. And after literally going through and ruining a whole bunch of stamped images that I had taken time to color in and everything, I decided I kind of came up with a way to do it. So this is what I did. What you want to do is you want to take all of your die cuts out of a coordinating stamp set, run it through on just a piece of white cardstock that's like 4x6. And then once you do that, and it doesn't matter, don't stamp your image, just run it through. It doesn't matter if it moves or shifts in that process, because you just want the, you just want like a mask of it. Then I took that piece of paper. So here's my stamped images, right? So I took this and I put it in my MISTI, and I actually don't have my magnets anymore. They're totally stuck together. Need to order more. Well, this isn't a MISTI, it's a platform. I put it in here, and then you just take your stamp and you line your stamp up over the one you want to stamp, the image you want to stamp. And this works really better with, these are super sticky, and so the smaller ones were harder to get to line up in there, and it just drops in. You pick this up, all right? Then you take that same image that you cut, and you guys probably already know this. You're like, seriously, you just figured that out? You pop that in like that, and I already have it done, and then you stamp it. And the cool thing is if you don't stamp it perfect, it's okay. It's not going anywhere because it fits in like a puzzle. You can re-ink it and stamp it as many times as you need. So that's what I did. And I do like, I've discovered that I do better if I do like mass stampings than anything else. And so I stamped up a whole bunch of these images, and then I'm going to keep this with my stamp set as well as my die in an envelope so that I don't have to do this again. It'll always be available to me. And if I have any extra stamped images that I stamped and I die cut out, I can go ahead and just keep it all together in here as well. So everything goes together, and the next time that I pull this stamp set out, it's going to totally be fine. And I also can take my purple tape and just fold it down, because you can reuse it a couple times. Fold it down from here and keep that inside of this as well. That way I don't have to worry about trying to find it. It's all together. All right, so let's move on. I actually do have something I want to show you today. So it's Whimsical Wednesday. So today, just create something that's whimsical. I, of course, am going to do a card because that was just the substrate that I had to use. And I want to show you some stuff I played with. So the first thing I wanted to do was I thought, I haven't used my Ken Oliver watercolors in a while. Why don't I go ahead and make a rainbow watercolor background? And so I created this one, which is cute. And then I even added in some of his metallics, so it kind of sparkles. It's cute. But then I looked, and I had some like pigment ink that I dropped on, and then I put on the Dina Wakley gloss spray, and I created that. And I'm like, well, that's cool. And And then I found, I'm not even kidding, you guys, I know if you're a stamper, you probably have this. I found in my stash a whole bunch of old, I'm talking at least 10-year-old re-inkers that I've never used by close to my heart. And I thought, what would happen if I use that like paint? So that's what I did on this one. Look at the intensity of that. I mean, it is intense. I even had to go over and spray it down with some, with the white glossy spray that's new from Dina Wakley. So these are just a couple different backgrounds I created, and I'm actually going to use all of these backgrounds on a card. I've totally changed my mind because I had so much fun with this, and I'm going to create that today with you and also do some Copic coloring, you know, so I can kind of refresh on that. And then, so I'm going to show you how to basically paint with your re-inkers. It's so easy. You're going to want to add a little bit of water because it's highly pigmented. So I'm going to use this substrate. It is a watercolor piece of mixed media paper. And then I have a water brush right here. If you don't have a water brush or Aquaflow brush, that's totally cool. All you need is the paintbrush and something to wet. This is just easy and convenient. And instead of going across like this, I'm actually gonna go more on a diagonal. So you're just gonna wanna take and just do a small dollop. That's all you need. And so I'm starting off with the sunny yellow. I don't even know if you can get sunny yellow, and then I'm adding a little bit of a drop of water, and I'm just going to start to work that down like so. All right. And it totally paints. And if you want more, if you want to make it, you know, not so strong, then just add a little bit more water. And then I'm going to take and clean off my brush, and also clean off that one spot just with my towel. And then from here, I'm going to move on to my green clover. Same thing, just a dollop. And you know what? Honestly, if you use too much of this, it doesn't even matter. For me, at least it doesn't, because I have never used these re-inkers. They have literally been sitting there forever, and that color is really green, so I am just adding quite a bit of water. And if you need to add water, you can always just take it and just spray it down. But you're going to get a beautiful, intense color, and you can like watercolor with your re-inkers, which I think is super fabulous if you're out of watercolor and you want to try something different. If you use, you want a heavier duty paper. This is like I had said, this is watercolor paper, and I really recommend that for any kind of wet medium. But you could be careful and use it on a higher type pound paper. That would totally work. And then I'm going to take and just clean off my nib, and I'm also going in kind of the order of, I'm being respectful of my color family so that the blue blends with the green. It's okay, you know, and if I don't get all of the previous color off, that's okay. Like that blue is super intense. That is the Star Spangled Banner blue. So, I mean, it's like thick even. So I'm going to definitely try to water that down with my other brush, and see, look what I did. But I'm okay with that. I think that's kind of pretty. And so I'm just going to take and do this. Now, I did try to do direct paper application, but then it dried so quickly, and depending on if your ink is water reactive, you may not be able to move that line much. So I prefer it like this. I prefer just to really get in there with a water brush and dilute it on a glass mat or your craft mat before I put it down. And I don't know, like, this ink is so old, I have no idea what type of ink it is. I don't know if it didn't seem to be really water reactive. Like, I had to seriously play on the one that I did. Like, I had to really, I mean, this one, I don't know if you can tell, but there were lines in it, and I had to really go over it, and that's why it's so vibrant. So just keep that in mind. If you don't know what kind of ink you have, and see, and that blue is still in there, and I'm just trying to rub it out. It was so intense, but that's okay, because my next color is Hydrangea, which is purple. Again, I'm just doing a little dollop of it. I'm going to pick this up because when I spray it goes everywhere, and I'm just going to spray it out, and that is super vibrant still. Okay, so let's go ahead and just pick up some of this purple, like so, and it just goes on beautifully. So this is just one way that you guys can use your re-inker, you know, and use it up. I mean, I'm so excited about this now that I figured this out, and you guys are probably like, duh, we've already known that forever. I'm a slow sometimes. I'm like not the sharpest tool in the box. So there's that one. All right. Isn't that cool? I'm just loving this. And it'll be not, I really want to burn through my stash. So I'm totally going to use this as an opportunity to just burn through. And then let's go ahead and put the last one on, and it's a bubble gum. So it's a bright pink, I think. I don't know. Again, I've never used these re-inkers, so I have no idea what color I'm going to get. I mean, I know what color I'm going to get. I just don't know really what it's going to look like. So it's kind of exciting. All right, so I'm just going to spray that out some. And then I'm going to take and put this down here like so. All right, and work it on through. And then, yeah, there we go. So that is how you can use your re-inkers that you never ever use. Now, I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna do this with my Catherine Puller re-inkers because I need those babies. I use those. Those are re-inkers that I actually use. But like I said, these close to my heart exclusive re-inkers have been in my stash forever. So I just created a really cool, fun, whimsical type background with the water and re-inkers and a paintbrush. So that's one way that you can use your stash. Okay, so now from here, I have to let this dry because it's not dry. So I'm going to set it aside and create a card with it probably tonight. So I have these three that I really like. And I was like, man, I really like all three of those. What can I do? So I thought that I could cut 3 circles out of this and just create a background with it on a card. So do a white base card and put these 3 circles on it. So I'm going old school, you guys. I actually have circle die cuts, but I'm going to use my Creative Memory circle cutter that I've had for probably 20 years. The blade is probably 20 years as well. And let's see what this does. All right. I don't even know if you can still get this. So we are digging deep. So today when you are doing your Whimsical Wednesday challenge, I want you just to kind of look through your stash and find things that you have forgotten about and use them. Why not, right? All right. So that obviously is, since it's watercolor thick paper, I can totally pull it. It's going to be a little bit thinner, but I think that's going to be okay. All right. Okay, so there's this one, all right? And then for this one, let's see here. This one, I want to go to this size right here. And the inside of the circle. And then I'll go around one more time. All right, so there's that. And I even have enough to punch another one. And I do like this paper. So I think I'm going to hang on to it because you might see it again. And then last but not least, we have this one right here. And so I really like this one, the intensity of it. I know it's super dramatic, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. So this is how you can use those samples that you played on in your craft room, because sometimes we need to play and just to learn a technique, and then we create these samples and we're like, well, what do we do with it? Well, here's one way you can do it. Cut it into shapes and put it on your projects. All right, so from here I want to go ahead and actually ink the edges on this just to give it a little bit of definition, but instead of going with a traditional black edge, because this is supposed to be more whimsical than anything else, I think I'm going to go with my archival ink and do the Dusty Concord color. And then we will move on to our little unicorns. I don't even know how this is gonna look, y'all. And I don't mind getting messy with it. You know what I mean? The texture on watercolor paper is so freaking awesome that if it gets all over the place, it's totally fine because it just has a really cool effect, I think. I love that it highlights that texture. Okay. So I'm going to put this on a card base first, and then I'm going to go back and figure out of that unicorn set which ones I want to use. Because I do have everything done. I don't have the sentiment stamp, but this is the set I'm going to use. So I kind of only want to color in what I'm going to use, and I won't know that until I get this placed out. So... and I might only use 2 because they're so big. All right, I gotta put my signature on the back. That's so important, you guys. Make sure you always stamp the back of your cards or at least sign them, because in the future it helps people know, hey, I really like that, or you know, who made that? Because sometimes I make cards for others to give to others and they're like, who made that? And they can just look. So I'm thinking I could do that, and then I could take this one, or I could just do one circle and then like one unicorn and then do that. That's super cute, but I think if I do that, I'm gonna want the bigger one. So I could do that one up there and that one there. Just offset them kind of in the corner. So I think I like that setup. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue down the center first, and then we will worry about shading in those unicorns. I have some alcohol markers. They're actually the tri-blends. I love them because I don't have to worry about shading. It's literally one marker with 3 markers in it. It has everything. It takes, like, I consider it Copic markers and alcohol marking for alcohol coloring for the idiot. Shading and stuff can kind of freak me out. So I'm going to show you some different things how to do that. And it's universal if you don't have the tri-blend like I'm going to be using. Just pick 3 colors and then you can go ahead and use those the same way. I mean, how you use an alcohol marker is the same across the board. And I by no means am an expert. All right, so there is that. And then let me go ahead and start shading in the unicorns. So this is the first little unicorn that I made, pink and cute. Now, the fun thing with unicorns is you can just leave them white. So that is awesome. You can totally leave them white and just be lazy about it. I'll go ahead and color this little one in too. I'm probably going to do a different color. You always want to color on a scratch piece of paper because the alcohol ink will go through the paper, and if there's nothing there to catch it, it'll come back up through your project. So depending on how juicy your alcohol ink is will determine if you need 1 layer of paper or 2 layers of paper. Copic marker is good with 1. This one is good with 1. These ones right here by Style File, I always have to put 2 or 3 down. They are super juicy. So just play with it. Just see which ones work for you. And I'm thinking I'm going to, let's see what color this is. Yeah, we'll do this little one in lavender. So on a tri-tip marker, tri-blend marker, this is by Spectrum out of my stash, you have a light, medium, and dark. You want to do the whole thing first in light, then you're going to go over and do less in medium, less in dark, and then you'll go over the whole thing again in light to blend it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start this off. Is this the, yes, this is the light. And just going to start this off, get some cover, get it all over the place. And I already have this little guy done. So we're just going to color this one today together. So if you don't have anything whimsical in your stash, just focus on creating a brightly colored project. And it doesn't have to be a card. If you want an ATC, cool. If you want a canvas, cool. If you want a scrapbook page, cool. Art page, cool. Piece of jewelry, cool. It doesn't matter. Just use your stash. And you have to modify. Do what whimsical means to you, okay? Modify it however you want to. The important thing right now is that we are creating every day and we are using what we have. That is the entire purpose of this. This is not supposed to be some kind of, you know, don't get so wrapped up in the rules. This is just a guideline. This is just something to jump off on. Okay. All right. So now that one is colored. So I'm going to move on to my medium tone pen from here, and I'm just going to go over a little bit less of it. All right, and I am by no means a colorist. It's not always my favorite thing to do, so I just kind of go with what I think is good. But you know, you might want to look up how to color with alcohol markers on someone's YouTube channel that is a colorist after you're done watching this, if you want to learn more, because you'll have fun. You'll get probably a better education than I'm giving you right now. And you also get to support that creator's channel. And right now, you know, that doesn't cost you anything, but they do make a little bit of revenue off of YouTube if there's commercials. So that really helps out your creator and your favorite YouTuber if you just watch their channel. That really is so helpful right now, and it doesn't cost you anything, and you get like a free lesson or inspiration. So I encourage everyone, especially right now, just to make sure you're subscribed and you're watching the people that you love, you're commenting and you're sharing and you're doing all of those things to help your creative community and your designers and things to continue on doing what they do at no cost to you, right? Okay, so now we're going to go to the dark. So as you see, it's looking a little bad, but that's okay. It's supposed to look like that. And now I'm just going to go around on some of the areas and add just a little bit more shading. And I'm going to tell you how to clean up those spots also. As you can see, I'm not really in my lines, and it's an easy fix, I promise. I do not use the blenders because they're not blenders, they are erasers, and I don't even like how they erase. So very rarely will you ever see me use a blender. Occasionally when I'm doing dark hair, I will, or a darker skin tone, I will go through and blend some of the color out just for highlights. So I use it more as a highlighter. All right, and now we're just going to go over with this lighter tone, this lighter color again, and see, I just got outside the lines because I'm not paying attention, but that's okay. I'm going to show how we can fix that. And as you can see, as you color over it, that lighter color is actually what takes and blends all of it together and makes it almost seamless. And that's how alcohol markers work. It doesn't matter what brand you use. They all have the same general concept. They all do the same thing. Okay, so this is how, I'm sorry, these are very squeaky and I apologize. So they all blend the same way. And if there's areas that didn't quite blend through or the line's still harsh, just go over it one more time. Okay, so right there, the underbelly, little dark. And so I'm just gonna go over it and boom, now it's lighter. Right there, little, I want that line to be to blend in a little bit better. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that little one. Now from here, I'm gonna color in the hair. For the hair, I'm not going to really worry about doing any kind of shading. The first thing I wanna do is I want to do the cute little unicorn horn. So I'm going to do it in blue and pale pink. All right, and then from here, I want to go ahead and add in color in the hair. So I'm going to actually do this pretty jade green. I'm not going to worry about blending. All right, and then right there, and then we'll go here, here, and then here. And then from the jade green, I want to go ahead and do citrus. I'm going to do the bright citrus. I'm going to do a darker one on top of that. There we go. All right, and then to finish her off, I want to go ahead with some blue. And so I'm going to use this ice blue in the light. Okay, now I have to do the little hooves, so I'm going to take my darker blue and just blend it. And you guys see I got really messy right there, so I need to clean that up. All right, so I need to clean it up, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a white gel pen. I think this is a white one. Let me make sure. Yes. And you're just going to go around the edges. And the white gel pen will just color right over my sloppiness. And what's cool about the die cut is that it's already die cut out, and you can almost like run it along the die cut edge, and it pretty much does a perfect job. I don't know. I tend to clean up, I call it my cleanup, better on a die cut image that's been stamped than I do on just one that has just been stamped on paper. But one that's already been cut out, I tend to do a better job coloring it in, like hiding, masking. All right. Now she looks pretty freaking cute. So I'm going to take this, figure out where I want to place it on my card. I want to do that one down there, this one up here, and then I'm thinking that I can do a sentiment in the middle. I think I'll do, let's do You Make Life Sparkle. So if you have a stamp set that comes with this piece right here, never ever throw it out. That actually is something you can stamp on, and I didn't know that until recently. So it is what you can actually stamp on. It helps cushion it. So don't ever throw it away. I used to throw them away because I didn't know any better. So now I know. I'm going to get a silver embossing powder. And to do this, I need to, I said sparkle, right? Yes. Okay. So to do this, I need to first pick it up with my stamp block. All right. I'm going to use my Versa Fine Clair pigmented ink for this. I love the way that embosses. Even though it's black, it totally will be able, you won't even know it's black once I'm done, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to open that up. I have my little tidy tray. I have this on my packaging from the stamp. So always keep your packaging. I didn't learn that until I was like a couple years into it, and then I was like, oh my, I should have kept that. Oh, before I stamp though, I need to go over with my pouch. What that does is that just gets off any extra moisture that may be on my surface, my substrate, and I will not get as crisp as an image. So when I emboss, it'll stamp fine, but the embossing powder may stick in spots that I don't want it to. And whenever you're stamping a sentiment, it's super important that you only emboss, you know, your sentiment and it's nice and crisp. So this just helps that do that by running it through your, by running some powder over it. All right, so let me go ahead and just take that. Wouldn't that be nice if I don't even need the tidy tray? All right, I banged it off of the side a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and just heat set that for my sentiment. And if you're using a thicker embossing powder, you're going to want to heat set it from the top. However, for this, it's a thinner, so I should be just fine to do it. Or you're going to want to heat set it from the bottom if you are using a thicker embossing powder. And what I mean by that is you would go up under like so it doesn't blow off. But for this particular stamp, I'm using a fine embossing powder, so I don't need to do that. There is no chance of this blowing off. And like I said, that ink was black, which I love because I can see exactly where I stamped the image, but it embosses exactly the color that I want it to emboss. And that's super light. Like, I may have to go over it. Actually, I'm going to go over it with, I should have probably embossed it in white. That's okay. I will go over it in my dusty Concord. I'll just swipe over it real quick. And that did nothing. So other than make it messy. Oh well. Oh well. I thought that I could swipe it over with archival ink. I couldn't. So let's just see if I can take and remove some of that off of, because if you get it before it dries, a lot of times on a slick surface. Yeah, I can see it better now. All right, so from here, let me go ahead and put on my little unicorns. I'm going to be using some pop dots. All right, and I have these. They're the packaging. So I'm gonna go ahead and just utilize the packaging. That's my most concerned thing. I would hate to run out of adhesive or pop dots. So I really utilize everything I possibly can. All right, so there's that. And let me put this little one on first and see that's still too big. It's okay. And then okay. So I'll put this one down on the bottom, and then I'm going to do the one flying on top. And I do have a couple other little pieces that I can put with it. Like I have a unicorn, I have a rainbow. The other thing that came with it was some stars, a diamond, a horseshoe, things like that. I'm a day late, I guess, on the horseshoe, right? And the clover. Oh well. All right, and then this one, I'm probably only going to need one for this as well. So I will put these two back in here for another use. So let's go ahead and get these on. There's that. And then let's do this little one right here. Okay, so I actually also have a glitter pen. It's like a glitter brush kind of with, it's like by Nuvo, and I think close to my, I have some close to my heart. And so I thought that that would be fun also to add to this little whimsical card. So let me grab that one. I again, you know, this is just for you guys to jump off and find some inspiration. You by no means have to copy what I'm doing to participate in this challenge. This is just some fun stuff, hopefully inspire you and have you use what is in your stash. So here is a brush with glitter in it. It's like sparkly. I don't know if you can see that, but it's super sparkly. It's so pretty. So I'm just going to go over like the tails on them, the manes, horn, and then this down here as well. Just that one. And as I finish up, I like to encourage you guys, if you have any questions, please leave them down below, or comments. Make sure that you leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Also, go over and join the staff, and that was this pen that I just used. I do have affiliated links provided down below if you want to check it out. I don't know right now what, I think Tonic is still mailing. I think the only company that is not even doing mailing right now is Hero Arts. So try to raid your stash, but if you really want something, please order off my affiliated links because it does help me. So, and then I'm just going to take this is Nuvo Glitter Drops, and it is in the Aquatic Mist. And so I'm just going to add a couple down like so. All right, and I'm going to call that card good. So that's my Whimsical Wednesday card. You guys, please head over to Stash Busters group. I'll try to link it through again. I don't know why I've had so much difficulty doing so. It's over on Facebook. That's where we're going to be housing all of the challenges. Sometimes right now with the coronavirus going around, I have started a self-quarantine, and my family is basically indoors. I have 3 teenagers, two of which are in high school, and so they're going to start probably school at home because I think that they're going to cancel the rest of the year. So I don't know if I'll be able to come on live every day, and I will keep everybody abreast over there, but I do need to keep my channel active, and I do enjoy this kind of stuff. It's so fun to dive in. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Check out the Stash Busters group on Facebook for arts and crafts. Leave any comments or questions down below, and please, please, please share. Not only mine, but any of your creators, your YouTube content creators. Please share their stuff. It is the easiest way right now that you can support a small business or an individual, because it costs you nothing, and it totally helps the creator stay doing what they love to do. All right, stay well, be safe. Until next time, happy crafting. I'm Bets Golden.